General Hospital spoilers tease that Jocelyn Jacks is about to convene a clandestine meeting with Vaughn and Jack Brennan, setting the stage for a web of intrigue that could upend every life in Port Charles. Unbeknownst to Jocelyn, Emma Scorpio Drake has shadowed her every move, piecing together the fragments of a secret that could cost Emma her very life. The flash drive sabotage. Long before the tension in the halls of academia and espionage collided, Emma had poured her heart into the research assignment given by the esteemed Professor Dalton. Night after night, she labored under the flickering glow of her desk lamp, cross-referencing medical journals, coding complex algorithms, and annotating reams of data. Conversations with colleagues drifted by as Emma chased the singular dream of becoming Professor Dalton's research assistant, a position that would elevate her career and grant her unprecedented access to government-sponsored WSB files. The moment of triumph arrived when Emma completed her work, a meticulous, groundbreaking study on the psychological profiles of covert agents. With shaking hands, she copied the final draft onto her trusty flash drive, a small device that represented her hopes and ambitions. She imagined the moment she would present it to Professor Dalton and hear those life-changing words, "Congratulations, Emma, you're in." But fate had other designs. On the morning she planned to deliver the drive, Emma discovered it was corrupted. File after file vanished, replaced by indecipherable code. Panic rose in her chest. She replayed every moment from the previous evening. Had someone tampered with it? Yet, in her exhaustion and dread, she convinced herself it was a simple technical glitch. With trembling fingers, she rushed to Professor Dalton's office and handed over the damaged drive. Professor Dalton's response was cold and clinical. He commended Emma for her effort, but said he had decided to appoint a new assistant, Jocelyn Jacks. The words hit Emma like a physical blow. All her sacrifices, her sleepless nights, it had amounted to nothing. Within moments, she vanished from the office, her heart pounding as she vowed to uncover the truth. Meanwhile, Jack Brennan's suspicions had already ignited. A former operative himself, Brennan knew the stakes when WSB assets were involved. He called an emergency meeting with Vaughn, another covert affiliate, and, to their shock, confirmed their suspicions. Someone had deliberately sabotaged Emma's flash drive. The slow, deliberate act of planting a malfunctioning drive, then returning it before Emma noticed, bore the hand of someone skilled and patient. Jocelyn, the golden-haired daughter cherished by all in Port Charles, found herself ensnared. She had approached the drive while Emma stepped out for a breath of fresh air, discreetly swapped it for an older, visibly damaged model, and left the broken drive in plain sight. But her timing faltered. Emma returned too soon and began to search desperately for the missing drive. Jocelyn improvised, faking surprise and finding it at Emma's feet. The ruse worked too well. Emma's frantic relief muted her questions, and Jocelyn's fingerprints on the casing were easily explained by her fabricating possession of the device. Back at WSB headquarters, Brennan and Vaughn convened once more. "She moved too slow," Brennan growled, reviewing security footage frame by frame. "We can't have loose ends." Vaughn nodded grimly. "Then you'll convene the meeting. We'll decide Jocelyn's fate before she can spill any more secrets." Emma's reckoning and the deadly hearings. Enraged and determined, Emma confronted her mentor's daughter. She found Anna Devane, Emma's confidant, and one of the few people she trusted, wandering the hospital corridors. "Anna, you have to help me," Emma pleaded, her voice trembling with equal parts fury and fear. "Jocelyn ruined my drive on purpose. I have to make her pay." Anna placed a calming hand on Emma's shoulder, her eyes reflecting the weight of her own hidden burdens. "Emma, accusations this serious need proof. You're a brilliant investigator. Collect evidence. Don't let anger blind you." That night, Emma followed Jocelyn out of the Courtemain mansion. By phone theft settings and hidden microphones, she recorded Jocelyn's hushed conversation with Vaughn and Brennan. Voices crackled in the darkness. She's becoming too unpredictable. We need to cut her loose, Brennan snarled over the line. Or worse. But Jocelyn's in deep, Vaughn countered. She's the perfect agent at the right moment. Lightning flashed as Emma crept closer, her recorder capturing every syllable, and a revelation she never anticipated. Jocelyn was more than a WSB asset. She was the linchpin in a conspiracy that could topple the very leadership of the agency. Emma's breath caught. She knew this recording could undo them all. She turned to slip away, but a shadow loomed. Jack Brennan stepped from the darkness, gun drawn, eyes cold. Thought you could expose us? He hissed. Emma's heart froze. Jocelyn, appearing at Brennan's side, reached for the weapon. Jack, stop, she cried. She's part of the plan. But Brennan's mind was made up. No more loose ends. He leveled the gun at Emma's chest, but Jocelyn dove forward, knocking Brennan's arm aside. The weapon discharged, echoing through the empty alleyway. Emma stumbled backward, clutching her side as crimson bloomed beneath her fingers. Jocelyn cradled Emma in her arms, tears mixing with rain. Through the haze of pain, Emma realized the bitter truth. In a world of secrets and lies, loyalty was the deadliest weapon of all. As sirens wailed in the distance, she clung to consciousness, determined that the truth she had risked everything to uncover would not die with her. Unraveling Port Charles's deepest conspiracy. Blood still on her fingers and rain plastering her hair to her forehead, Emma Scorpio Drake lay cradled in Jocelyn's arms as the sirens drew closer. Within those moments of pain and disbelief, Emma understood that exposing this web of corruption would demand more than a single recording. It would require sacrifice, cunning, and unwavering resolve. Anna Devane arrived on the scene just as detective units flooded the alleyway. Her sharp gaze assessed the fallen WSB operative's daughter and the injured graduate student, mind racing to reconcile what she saw with her own knowledge of the agency's covert operations. With a silent signal, Anna moved Emma away from the no-man's land of police tape and flashlights, wrapping her in a blanket and pressing a makeshift bandage to her wound. Emma, you're safe now, Anna murmured, her voice stealing. But Port Charles won't forget what happened here tonight. Moments later, in the solitude of a parked car behind the hospital, Emma's breaths came in shallow gasps. With trembling hands, she retrieved her recorder. The tape was intact. Every word, Brennan's vengeful threats, Vaughn's cold calculations, Jocelyn's torn loyalties, was preserved in digital eternity. Yet, as Emma pressed play and heard Brennan's final oath to silence her forever, she felt the weight of what came next. Jocelyn sat beside her, face streaked with rain and tears. I never meant for it to go this far, she confessed, voice breaking. I thought I was protecting us, saving you, saving the agency. But I lost control. Emma locked eyes with her former adversary. They tried to make you believe sacrifice was the only way. But tonight showed me you still have a choice. She paused, gathering strength. Turn yourself in. Use that recording. Expose them, Jocelyn. It's the only way for any of us to survive. As dawn broke over Port Charles, the city awoke to a scandal that would rock every power structure. The next morning's headlines screamed, WSB Operation Exposed, Port Charles under siege. Satellite footage of Jocelyn's midnight meeting, Dr. WSB manifests, and damning voice recordings flooded the media. Within hours, federal agents launched an investigation into Professor Dalton's lab, revealing the professor himself had been a covert collaborator in the conspiracy, funneling research to covert operatives and sabotaging any candidate deemed a liability. In the halls of Penton Hill, Professor Dalton stood before a panel of oversight investigators. Emma, now fully recovered and sworn in as a special consultant to the probe, watched as Dalton's carefully curated reputation unraveled. Jocelyn, stripped of her WSB cover and facing charges of espionage, stood beside her, the weight of her choices etched into her pale features. Yet, amid the unforgiving glare of interrogation lights, Jocelyn's resolve did not waver. "I was wrong," she admitted, voice steady. "But I wasn't alone. Professor Dalton orchestrated the sabotage. Brennan and Vaughn escalated it to murder. I make no excuses for my actions, but I will help bring the truth to light." That admission triggered a cascade of confessions. Vaughn, cornered by overwhelming evidence, spilled the names of other agents hidden within Port Charles's civilian institutions. Brennan, facing federal sentencing, refused to speak, his silence a testament to the agency's darkest creed, loyalty above all. Meanwhile, Emma received an offer she could scarcely believe. The Director of National Intelligence, impressed by Emma's courage and tenacity, extended an invitation to join a new WSB Oversight Division tasked with preventing internal corruption. It was a role Emma had once dreamed of in Professor Dalton's more narrow academic confines, but this opportunity would allow her to reshape the very heart of covert operations. Yet victory came at a price. Anna Devane, hailed as a hero, found herself battling nightmares born from years of classified missions and the guilt of having mentored agents like Jocelyn into the shadows. In a quiet moment at Anna's lakeside cottage, Emma and Anna shared a rare moment of peace. "You saved more than just your career," Anna said, gazing at the water. "You saved lives, Emma, including Jocelyn's." Emma traced the ripples on the lake's surface. "And she saved mine. But I'll never forget. Port Charles has its share of ghosts, Anna." She exhaled softly. "We gave them a choice tonight, and that's more than most victims ever get." In the final pages of the saga, Port Charles began to rebuild. Professor Dalton faced trial and conviction, his legacy tarnished beyond repair. Brennan's name became a cautionary tale whispered in agency halls. Jocelyn, after serving a reduced sentence for her pivotal cooperation, emerged as a consultant for Emma's new division, her insider knowledge invaluable against threats from within. At the inaugural meeting of the WSB Oversight Council, Emma stood before former adversaries and new allies alike. "We built this agency to protect," she began, voice clear in the council chamber. "But protection without accountability becomes tyranny. Today, we pledge transparency, oversight, and a respect for the lives we touch, even those we thought expendable." As applause filled the room, Emma allowed herself a small, hopeful smile. Port Charles had always been a place of secrets, but now, thanks to sacrifices dark and bright, it had a chance at redemption.